So I'm really excited here to be with Jared Phipps, our new CRO. We just ended an amazing year, which we tripled our ARR, but looking forward to actually building an amazing company together. Excited to have you on board, and thank you for joining us, Jared.
Thank you for having me over here. I'm super excited and definitely want to keep the momentum moving forward.
Excellent. So just for everybody to get to meet you and to know you better, can you share a little bit about your experience? I mean, how did you land into cybersecurity, and then how did you land into sales?
Yeah, so when I graduated college, my first job was in the U.S. Air Force. And my first duty assignment was up in Nebraska, Offutt Air Force Base. And I was working in a software development shop. And that software development shop, I was reviewing code on a weekend at my apartment thinking, I probably shouldn't be staring at this code at my house. Like, this is pretty sensitive stuff. So we went back and we put a security program around that. And it's funny because now we're talking about Dazz 20 years later, which is solving that exact problem, right?
But it'll never go away.
It'll never go away. But that got me started in security, and then I moved down to San Antonio, Texas in 2005 and started working on various cyber programs, both on the offensive and defensive side with the Air Force, and that was fantastic. How I got into sales, some of the vendors that I spent money with recruited me to come over into sales. So I've spent the last 12 years working in cybersecurity, and most recently with SentinelOne.
Amazing. And so we got ourselves a CRO with background in coding, which is kind of unique, right?
Yeah.
You weren't like a used car sales guy. Like, you really started from developing products and moving on to sales.
Yeah, I don't think you want me coding anything anymore.
No.
But my son definitely does a better job coding than I do now. But I definitely I grew up in this space. I've been on the buyer side for a good 3-4 years, making massive procurements, rolling out really large, complex projects, spending millions of taxpayer dollars, and I did it,
well.
Did it well, of course. Absolutely no fluff in there at all. But I think it's given me a unique perspective when I'm working with clients, when I'm working with customers, because I remember what it was like on their side, right? And it's not just about the money that's spent, it's really about the success of the project. People's careers are on the line. There's a lot of pressure in a lot of different facets, so I always keep that in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about your career, you said 20 years, which is impressive. Anything you're really proud of? Anything that you think that you kind of look back and say, that's a project, a product, a team that's really proud of?
Every time I look back and I think of prior jobs and I think of different things, it always goes back to the teams that I've been, I think, really fortunate to be a part of, somehow entrusted to lead a lot of those teams. But to me, that's what makes everything special. The relationships you have with people, the trust you have with people, the camaraderie you build in them, that really lasts a long time. And I think, probably the highlight for my career so far would be, standing at the IPO and standing on the stage. And that was very kind of like this momentous occasion. It was something I'd always wanted to do. But at the end of the day, like, you want to celebrate that with the team because it was hundreds of people who did this effort that they kind of get you there, right? And it's tons of clients. And but I do think of some of the really, really big fun projects, security projects for a lot of Fortune 10 and Fortune 100 companies that is so unique, so specific that you would never get a chance to work on them anywhere else. Those are a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm. So fast forward, what drew you into Dazz? I mean, where first did you even hear about Dazz? Being at SentinelOne, we're not really in the same markets, right? And what eventually made you decide to join us?
Yeah, well, so I kind of follow the startup scene. I've always had this thing for entrepreneurship, and people, I think, that take that journey, by the way, are a very special breed of people. I have a tremendous amount of respect for entrepreneurs. So I've followed Dazz now for probably about a year and a half. What I like, look, I kind of just walked you through how I got into security, right? And it was involving software design, go figure, and then there's insecurities in software design. And for the last 20 years, we have gotten better at speed of application development, speed of delivery of applications, but security is always trailing everything. It's been that way for 2 decades, right? I can think back for the last 20 years, we've always been chasing vulnerabilities or findings or whatever you want to call it. So when I saw a unified remediation platform, and it's not just another vendor showing up with, here's some more alerts to go triage, right? It's somebody who's telling you, here's how to go fix all the noise and get rid of it. To me, that really resonates. Like the practitioner side of me says, finally, somebody's coming and giving me the ability to deal with these problems instead of just giving me more noise. And I personally am just tired of noise, right? I want less noise, more action.
And since you joined, or we announced you joining, did you get any feedback from your, previous customers and any channel partners about your decision or about the market, the problem that we're solving?
Yeah, it's been a really I'm not super surprised because I thought it was an interesting space, but a very pleasant surprise of the number of channel partners that have been reaching out saying, hey, we've been following this company, we've been looking at this space. Why did you go there? Help me understand this space. Which of my customers are going to care about this? And those calls have been going on since the announcement. It's just been coming every day. And I think what I'm sensing from that is the market feels the same thing I've always felt, right? There's something there that's problematic, that's slowing down businesses. And, the channel recognizes that. They're looking for some answers. I think right now everything in DevSecOps is confusing. There's a lot of vendors. They all sound the same. Who does what? How does it all come together? Nobody has a clear picture of that. And that's where we have an opportunity to come in and provide a very clear picture with some very tangible results. And to me, that's what's really exciting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, think about the potential of unified remediation, as you mentioned, and you also kind of play in the spaces, the Gartner spaces of ASPM and CTEM. What do you think the potential? What do you think also puts Dazz apart from the noise, as you just mentioned?
Yeah, well, let's take the first one, ASPM, as an example, right? There's many vendors that have portions of what Gartner probably considers to be a true ASPM solution. When I look at Dazz, ASPM is one capability of this platform. And then, to your point, we extend into other areas. When you look at DevSecOps, when you look at vulnerability management, CTEL, all these different capabilities, and this is something that we can solve with a single platform, with a single product, that's pretty compelling. Because what we're going to wind up is another scenario where CISOs are expected to go procure 5, 6, 7 different security tools, and then try to figure out how to operationalize them. And how do you do that when you're not fixing systems, you're working with devs, right? That's just really difficult.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about the year ahead, FY25 for us, the fiscal year of 25, but calendar year of 24, what do you think the main focus areas for you? What are you going to build?
Yeah, look, for me coming in from the CRO capacity, I'm really focused on growth right now. And that's going to start with the channel. So we need to do a lot of work to enable the channel, get the right channel programs in place, help the channel take this solution to their customers. And I think that's really important because customers for a channel, they're customers for life, right? And so when you're walking in, if you're a channel partner and you've sold 3 or 4 solutions into a customer, to walk Dazz into that customer, we really have to add an incremental value. Mm-hmm. So we need to make sure it's really clear to the channel what that value is, so that when we walk in with our partners, that it's an additive to what they've been doing in that account. So we're going to do a lot of focus there, a lot of focus on just good fundamental growth. So we have to scale the sales team. What does that mean to do? We're an early stage company. You need to hire great people, people that know what it's like to be at an early stage company. That means that they're very customer obsessed, customer focused. They'll take those calls at 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. because that's the kind of reps and people that you need in the sales force. So we're going to focus a lot on building a team that's ready for growth. And the third area I'm going to really focus on is culture. It's something that I saw over the years from my time in the military, time at Sentinel-1. When you build a great culture, it doesn't come across just in the team you're working in. It comes across to the customers. It comes across to the other teams in the company. It comes across everywhere, right? So a lot of focus on culture.
Mm-hmm. Culture is really important and definitely aligned with that. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, please.
So when you look at your career, what's your superpower? It doesn't, by the way, have to be in a career, but what do you think is the thing that's special sauce that makes you what you are?
I don't know if I really have a superpower, but I think what I pride myself on is team building. At least that's what people have told me a lot of times. Is I can do a pretty good job of putting teams together that are highly efficient. But aside from that, going in the personal life, I probably actually really enjoy making pizza, believe it or not. So I built a wood fire oven in my backyard, brick by brick, and I make the mozzarella from scratch, the bread from scratch.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of my thing. I definitely
It takes a
enjoy
while.
that.
It takes a while.
It takes a while. I don't have a lot of time for that these days, but when I get a full free weekend, that's something to do.
Any Italian origins or just like,
For me, no, but my
No.
wife's family's from Italy.
okay, so you love Italian food, so you married the right person.
So I just had to, kind of adopt myself into the family and prove I could belong.
And is there like anything you want to share that nobody knows about you, like something kind of unique about yourself, or?
I think people are surprised about it, but I love basketball. And
You play?
I play all the time. So even now, I still play all the time against 20-year-olds, and
Whoa.
I win every now and then. And then the other thing that I really am kind of passionate about is saltwater. I have a saltwater fish tank, a reef tank, and I like doing like coral propagation and the species propagation, doing everything so it's not live collect from the ocean, trying to figure out how to kind of keep that ecosystem going. It's a lot of, I think, patience required, but it's a fun hobby.
Interesting. And you don't live by the ocean, right?
I don't live by the ocean. I grew up in the desert, so that's probably why I'm fascinated by the ocean. But yeah, I grew up in Arizona. I live in the middle of Texas, so got to bring the ocean into my office.
Any other kind of cool stuff? Do you play any instrument?
I grew up learning how to play the piano, so didn't practice as religiously as I
Classic?
should have every day. But yeah, classic.
You still play sometimes?
I haven't in about a year, but I do play every now and then. Yeah, so it hasn't completely left me yet.
Cool. We have to one day. We have a lot. I mean, in Dazz, like everybody plays some instruments, so that we have to do like a concert together and see
There we
to
go.
really test the levels and see like.
See how good they are. Okay, I'll go first so I can set the bar low.
Okay. And like, you've been traveling probably a lot during all this time, and in this amazing career of yours. Any special place in the United States or beyond that you want to share that you really love or you want to go back to?
So yeah, there's actually quite a few cities. I love a city in Spain called Alcoy. I used to live there,
Oh,
and it's an amazing city. But in terms of work travel, Tokyo is really cool to visit, but Zurich is probably my favorite city to go to. It's just super clean. I love the customers that we've had there, so that probably plays a big part of it. Fun teams to work with.
chocolate, good chocolate.
And good chocolate. I love chocolate. So yeah, Zurich was an awesome one to visit. Yeah, but like that is one of the perks of the job is visiting all the different cities and meeting so many different people from different places. It's a lot of fun.
Great. So, Jared, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I'm so excited to see what comes, for our journey together. And I'm sure you're going to build an amazing company together. Really, really excited to get the right talent, to build the right culture, and to, the sky's the limit for us.
I'm excited.